trail on the side of the road. The driver is dead. Miami homicide detectives are on the scene in minutes.
Started trying to get some information from Mrs. Rakabon, who was very, very upset, but still in shock, trying to figure out what occurred. The problem we had was she only spoke German.
An interpreter's been called to the scene. They attempt to calm the female passenger down and try to find out what happened.
Immediately we knew, based on the information that we were gathering from the victim's wife, that it was some type of botched robbery.
This was a bump and run robbery that they didn't pull over, shots were fired. She couldn't really tell anything about the robbers, the nationality. She didn't know male or female.
Without anything more specific, police assume the attackers are male.
So after she relayed to us what had occurred, we were of the opinion at that time that we were looking for two males in a truck. What I remember mostly about this is her trying to describe the truck. She described it as being a big yellow work truck. And we didn't know if we were looking for what kind of work truck we were looking for.
Cooper and Green continue their investigation. Fearing being recognized, Jones and her crew have ditched the yellow truck back at their apartment complex. Unsatisfied, they're now heading back towards the airport in a rental they carjacked from the businessman the night before.
We went back to the airport to rob some more.
But before they get to the terminal, Jones, Rico, and Alvin want to check out the crime scene where their latest victims crashed. They don't yet know one of the tourists is dead. Rico slows the car as they get near the accident.
The man's laying down with the tarp over him.
Yo, we need to get out of here, man.
You need to just be quiet. I want to find out what happened.
Alvin's freaking out. He's just freaking out. And I'm like, you know, well, what happened? I thought maybe he got hit by a car.
Miami Herald reporter Manny Garcia is on the scene. He sees the vehicle pulling up and stopping at a dangerous location.
A red car shows up, slows down to a crawl, and the window goes down.
Excuse me. You know what happened right here?
We couldn't believe this car was stopping to a crawl because the highway was a major exit point for tractor trailers heading to the port of Miami. And tractor trailers would have to come on that curve and they'd be going fast. And we're thinking, this person's suicidal.
Did somebody die?
Yeah, I think someone got shot.
They come back to the scene. They see the body covered by the sheet. They know that this is a product of something that they have done. They didn't care. They were just hell-bent on getting money to satisfy their needs.
Do they know who did it?
They don't know very much right now, any details.
And to me, it tells me that it was by any means necessary.
Come on, Rico, let's go.
They then went back to the airport again and waited again for more tourists to come out to again attempt a robbery.
It's well after midnight. The gang has no luck finding another victim. Jones calls it.
It was like real dead. Wasn't nothing really too much going on, so we go home.
Back at the crime scene, homicide detectives release details of the murder to the media, and the story explodes.
German tourist Uwe Wilhelm Rockebrod shot in that car.
It was a case that was heard around the world.
The city of Miami, already reeling from a rash of violence against tourists, has reached its tipping point.
It was very high profile.
On the streets, they call it bump and rob.
Everything broke loose with the Rocket Brian killing, and it just becomes absolutely radioactive.
A command post is set up at the City of Miami Police Department. Homicide detectives work through the night.
The pressure that was on the state attorney's office, the pressures on the homicide detectives, and it was like this groundswell of panic that was happening.
Sensational banner headlines in London newspapers have Florida tourism officials very concerned.
It became not just local news or even national news, it became international news.
Okay, listen up, people. FDLE has sent us some new help.
At 8 a.m., Florida Department of Law Enforcement agents sent by the governor arrived to aid in the investigation.
The Florida Department of Law Enforcement get involved when it is a high-profile case. FDLE is the arm of law enforcement that can reach across county lines, city lines, and they can reach out statewide. We had FDLE agents assigned full-time with us.
A van pulled alongside the rental car and a shot was fired.
Meanwhile, Jones finds out that her botched robbery is causing a lot of attention.
Everybody's asleep. I'm awake. And then I see this news flash.
Florida's governor even threatened
Rico! Rico, hurry up and get your ass in here!
I'm like, oh my God.
It's on every channel.
People in New York news talking about it, and all this other news talking about it.
It blew up like that.
It's a whole lot more serious.
Despite the news, Jones still thinks she's above the law.
What you mean with what we gonna do? We gonna keep on doing what we've been doing.
Hello?
Then, Rico gets a call telling him his baby is sick and that his ex took the child to the hospital during the night.
My baby's in the hospital. Come on, we gotta go. Come on, get some clothes on. We gotta go.
Jones and Rico put their own problems aside
Take us to the hospital.
and go to check on Rico's kid. At the same time, the media attention is starting to pay off.
Tips started coming in. They were being phoned in.
One promising tip comes from the Cloverleaf apartment complex.
I seen this newspaper about y'all looking for this truck, and I've been seeing it in front of my house for like a week now, and I noticed the truck y'all been looking for. Cause
We were starting to get calls on where there was different box trucks, yellow box trucks, parked around Miami. An individual called me and almost immediately stated, this box truck that's parked up here in my apartment complex, these are the people that are involved in it. They've had this truck for a few days. They've been parking it normally, but now they've got it parked in a concealed fashion. So I sent the Florida Department of Law Enforcement team up there. Vehicle right here.
Agents arrive at the Cloverleaf apartments, and they quickly find the truck they think was used in the murder of Uwe Rockebrand.
FDLE went out there, took a look at that truck. We knew that the victims were in a red vehicle. We knew that our truck was yellow.
Yeah, it looks like it's trash.
The lead detective immediately spots red paint in the truck's bumper.
He was there 30 seconds, looked at the vehicle and saw the red paint, which matches what we were looking for. And he called me and says, hey, this is the vehicle.
That's Nate Royal.
This has got to be it. It's got fresh paint on it, fresh damage on it. And we're going to start going through the apartment complex here, trying to find out who rented it, who's got it. So he started an area canvas with his team.
Nate Royal, dealing.
Some of the people were given bits and pieces of information, but other people, they didn't want to talk to the police on the scene because they didn't want to seem like they're cooperating.
Did you notice it last time when you came in? No, man. Didn't see anybody next to the vehicle? No. Good luck with your investigation, man. Well, we do have a few more questions for you. Yeah.
But some Cloverleaf residents are willing to share information when not at the complex.
hi, yes.
So we're starting to get calls at the Miami homicide.
Yeah, this guy named Rico.
Most of the tips coming in, we're calling him Rico.
Yeah, they're heading to the hospital right now.
Authorities also get a lead on Rico's current location.
Tips started coming in that the people who had in fact driven that truck and were driving that truck at the time were at a local hospital with a child.
So the investigators went over there to see if they could locate him.
FDLE agents arrive at the hospital. They immediately locate Rico talking to the doctor that's treating his child.
We were at the hospital because his baby was sick, and the detectives walked up.
Jones is spooked.
Yeah.
She carefully watches the agents. As they start questioning Rico, she grips the pistol under her jacket.
And I'm just like, my life is over.